Hello and welcome to week 2 for 2830. This week we have 3 PowerPoints that we're going to listen to and read. And this one is about child development and brain building, but it's focusing on the Head Start Early Learning Outcomes Framework. Excuse me. The Early Learning Outcomes Framework has 5 central domains. It's approaches to learning, social and emotional development, language and literacy, cognition, and perceptual, motor, and physical development. This is a guiding framework that helps all educators in all kinds of early learning settings learn about the skills, behavior, and knowledge to foster in young children. We're going to be using this framework quite a bit this semester. And as I said, this is really the basis for all educators in early learning settings to determine a child's development. So this brief video introduces the framework and ways to use it to support children's development. It's about 2 minutes long. So go ahead and click on this link and watch this video clip. The Head Start Early Learning Outcomes Framework is a resource that describes children's developmental progressions from birth to age 5. The framework guides activities in the course and as we explore children's development across domains. The framework shows the continuum of learning for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers and describes what skills, behaviors, and knowledge that teachers need to be able to support to help children grow. The framework supports the learning and development of all children, including children who are dual language learners and those who have disabilities. It guides curriculum selection, implementation, and assessment, and is a tool for planning and assessing teaching and learning experiences and children's progress towards school readiness goals. Okay, here we have the framework's guiding principles. First, each child is unique and can succeed. Learning occurs within the context of relationships. Families are children's first and most important caregivers, teachers, and advocates. Children learn best when they are emotionally and physically safe and secure. Areas of development are integrated, and children learn many concepts and skills at the same time. Teaching must be intentional and focused on how children learn and grow. Every child has diverse strengths rooted in their family's culture, background, language, and beliefs. This slide looks at the first domain of approaches to learning. This domain includes 4 subdomains: emotional and behavioral self-regulation, initiative and curiosity, creativity, and cognitive self-regulation. But note on this slide that 2 of the subdomains are grouped together, initiative and curiosity plus creativity. Children show behavior in this domain through their emotional reactions, their behavioral choices, and their ability to focus attention. For example, the framework indicates that by 36 months, children will be able to use strategies such as seeking familiar adults or removing themselves from situations. They'll be able to handle strong feelings and emotions. This is examples of the emotional and behavioral regulation subdomain. In the cognitive self-regulation subdomain, children by the age of 36 months should be able to maintain focus and attention on a simple task or activity for short periods of time. The second domain is the social and emotional development domain, and it focuses on children's abilities to create meaningful relationships with other people, to express, recognize, and manage their own emotions, and to respond to others' feelings. This domain includes 4 subdomains: relationships with adults, relationships with other children, sense of identity and belonging, and emotional functioning. Again, as with the previous slide, this slide meshes 2 subdomains into one. The language and literacy domain focuses on children's developing abilities to listen, understand, and express themselves using language, and skills that lay the foundation for reading and writing. The domain for infants and toddlers is language and communication with these subdomains: attending and understanding, communicating and speaking, vocabulary, and emergent literacy. In preschool, language and literacy are separate domains that reflect the differences in development in these areas. The language and communication subdomains for preschoolers are attending and understanding, communicating and speaking, and vocabulary. The literacy domain has these subdomains: phonological awareness, print and alphabet knowledge, comprehension and text structure, and writing. This domain includes the skills needed to communicate effectively with one another. Children's proficiency with language and literacy affects their learning across all domains over time. The next domain is the cognition domain. The cognition domain focuses on the development of reasoning, memory, problem solving, and thinking skills. This domain has these subdomains for infants and toddlers: exploration and discovery, memory, reasoning and problem solving, emergent mathematical thinking, and imitation and symbolic representation and play. For preschoolers, the cognition domain becomes two: mathematics development and scientific reasoning. This reflects the increasingly complex and unique cognitive abilities of children ages 3 to 5. Within the mathematical development, the subdomains are counting and cardinality, operations and algebraic thinking, measurement, and geometry and spatial sense. Within scientific reasoning, the subdomains are scientific inquiry and reasoning and problem solving. The perceptual, motor, and physical development domain is key to children's development because these areas allow children to explore and learn in others. The domain includes 3 subdomains: perception, gross motor and fine motor, and health, safety, and nutrition. Each of these domains connects to and influences the other. For example, as preschoolers' working memory develops, which is part of approaches to learning, their ability to follow multi-step instructions improves, and their ability to learn complex math concepts also increases. This is a part of cognition. Or as children develop their skills engaging in multi-turn conversations, their ability to describe social problems and suggest solutions to conflicts also grows. This is a part of social and emotional development. So take a second and think about, can you identify the 5 developmental domains of the Head Start Early Learning Outcomes Framework? Again, this framework and the 5 developmental domains is the basis for all early learning and early educators to assess, to teach, and for children to learn. So think about, how would you describe development in one domain connecting to development in at least another domain? When we do our CDBB activities, there's going to be a lot of times that you will need to think about and demonstrate how one domain that you have identified connects to one of the other domains. Okay, so that is the end of this PowerPoint. I would suggest pausing this, making notes of things that stood out to you, writing down the 5 domains, and then moving on to the next.